3,247 decisions in 7 days. That's how many choices I made last week. And 200 of them should never have happened at all. Not big decisions, not life-changing ones. Just decisions. What to eat, which route to take, whether to reply to that email now or later. I tracked every single one of them. And what I found completely changed the way I think about energy, productivity, and why I feel exhausted by 2 p.m. every day. I'm going to show you all 3,247 entries, and I'm going to show you the 200 that should have never happened at all. But here's the problem. What I found wasn't just inefficiency. It was something a lot darker, and I almost missed it. It started 7 days ago on a Sunday morning. I'd read a study claiming that the average adult makes around 35,000 decisions per day, and I thought, there's no way. That number sounds insane. So I decided to test it myself. My rules were simple. Every choice I was consciously aware of making, I logged it. I used a small notebook in my pocket, a voice memo app for when I was driving, and a notes app for everything else. Day 1 felt fine, almost like a game. Which sock do I put on first? I wrote it down. Oat milk or regular? I wrote it down. Close the blinds before or after making the bed? I wrote that down too. And I started to notice something. Most people believe that feeling tired at the end of a workday means they worked hard. That's the lie. I didn't work that hard on day 1. I barely answered emails, but by 4 p.m. I was exhausted, and I couldn't figure out why. I'll show you the data in a minute, specifically a graph of my energy across all 7 days. The drop on day 4 is genuinely shocking. By day 7, my logbook had 3,247 entries. Of those, 200 were what I call dead decisions, choices that had already been made for me, by habit, by environment, by default. But I was still using mental bandwidth to redecide them every single time. Every morning I stood in front of my wardrobe and debated what to wear. Every single morning. That's not a decision anymore. That's a tax on your brain. Here's one specific entry. Day 3, 7:42. AM, blue shirt or gray shirt? I spent 90 seconds on this, and I've worn the blue shirt 14 times already. That's 90 seconds I'll never get back. Multiply that by 200 decisions. That's 5 hours in 1 week. Gone. Start a pre-decided list. Things you choose once and never reevaluate daily. Outfit formula, breakfast rotation, morning sequence. But wait, here's what I didn't expect. When I categorized all 200 unnecessary decisions, food choices made up 38% of them. Clothing was 22%. Route and logistics. Which coffee shop? Which parking lot? Which checkout line? That was another 19%. That's nearly 80% of my decision waste coming from 3 totally mundane categories. Not work, not strategy, lunch. Batch your trivial decisions once per week. Plan your meals Sunday, lay out outfits, choose default routes. This is what happened on day 4. And honestly, when I first saw this, I thought something was wrong with me. Days 1 through 3, fine, normal. I felt like myself. Day 4, I hit a wall. Hard, I couldn't focus, I was irritable. I made bad calls at work that I normally wouldn't make. And here's what nobody mentions about decision fatigue. It doesn't feel like mental tiredness, it feels like emotional tiredness. It looks like procrastination. It shows up as avoidance. I wasn't lazy on day 4, I was depleted. The real reason this works is actually counterintuitive, and it has nothing to do with willpower. I'll explain that in a moment. So here's the counterintuitive part. We think that saving energy means doing less, working fewer hours, saying no to more things. But the experiment showed me something different. It's not the big decisions that drain you. It's the small ones you haven't pre-decided. Think about that. The decision to accept a major client project takes 20 minutes of deliberate thought, and then it's done. Your brain processes it, files it, moves on. But what should I have for breakfast? That question hits you at 7 a.m., again at 7:10, when you change your mind, again when you're standing in the kitchen, and again when you feel vaguely guilty about the choice you made. That's 4 micro decisions disguised as one. And you do this dozens of times before 9 a.m. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is just about routines. Everyone says build a morning routine. No, that's not the insight. Routines are an output. The insight is this. Awareness comes first. You cannot automate what you haven't first measured. Before I tracked my decisions for a week, I genuinely believed my mornings were efficient. I thought my energy crashes were random. I had no idea I was bleeding mental bandwidth on things I didn't even care about. The logbook didn't give me a system. It gave me data, and data gave me choice. And this leads to something bigger. Because once you see your decision patterns clearly, you can start to build what I now call a decision architecture. But that's a whole other video. You don't have to track 3,000 decisions. Here's the version that actually works in real life. Step 1, tomorrow morning only. Log every decision from waking up until you sit down to start work. Just that window. I've put a free decision tracker template in the description. Use that or just grab a notebook. Step 2, circle any decision you made that you've made before. Don't analyze, just circle. Step 3, count them. That number is your decision debt. Those are what we're going to eliminate. Common mistakes? Tracking everything for a week right away. That's overwhelming and you'll quit on day 2. Start with one morning. Also, don't try to fix anything yet. Seriously. This week, just observe. The insight comes before the system. If you only remember one thing, you can't fix what you don't measure. Awareness is the whole first step. But here's the thing. This awareness only becomes useful if you understand how habits actually form inside your brain. Because if you skip that piece, you'll just end up with a new list of decisions to make about your old decisions. That's what the next video is about. 3,247 decisions. 200 that were draining me for no reason. And a day 4 crash that wasn't laziness. It was depletion. What this experiment really showed me. We've been measuring productivity wrong. Hours worked, tasks completed, goals hit. But not the invisible tax we pay just to get started. That tax has a name. And now you know how to measure it. If this hit different, hit like. It helps more than you think. And try this. Track just your morning decisions tomorrow. Then drop your number in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. But first, you need to know this one thing. Deciding what to eat costs 10 times more mental energy than deciding what to wear. And most people are accidentally spending their best mental energy on the cheapest ones.